Hi, good morning, guys. As you're watching this, I should be recovering from surgery, so hopefully all is going well and you're being good with Miss Evans. So we're going to look at factoring today. This is just like what we were doing earlier in the week, where you are pulling out different terms. So before we were putting them in through either multiplying or through distributing. Now we're talking about factoring, and we're going to go from having two terms to now having three terms. So they're going to be in the form x squared plus bx plus c. Okay. And before you guys panic, remember, this is nothing more than just standard form. So everything we're going to do today is going to be based off of this form. So first up, let's take this problem here. We need to have two quantities, okay? So we put down our two parentheses. What's nice is when we have a leading coefficient of 1, so when this is 1, our numbers here are automatically just x's, or whatever variable they put in there. Here comes the tricky part. How do I figure out what to put in the back? There's literally a nice simple rule to follow that as long as you do it every time, it'll work. First thing, look here. If that is a plus, then our signs are the same. So if plus, then signs are the same. So in this case here, since this is a plus, we know both of these are going to be the same. Now, is it a plus or is it a minus? To figure that one out, we look right here. This tells me if they're the same or different. This tells me what they are. So in this case, they're the same, and they both are going to be pluses. Only thing left to do now is figure out what this last number is. Well, if we look back here, we're going to look at the last term. So I have a positive 24. We need to figure out the factors of 24. So I have 1 and 24. I have 2 and 12. I would have 3 and 8. 4 and 6. So these are all my factors. My goal is that when I multiply them through, that I'm going to get 10. So just remember, when we're doing FOIL, how we would go first, you know, like that. Are we using that FOIL to multiply? We're going to do the same thing, but we want to make sure that our middle number ends up being a 10. So if I look here, if I use 1 and 24 for example, yeah, if I multiply it, I get 1 times 24, I get there. But if I look on the inside, I have 1x and I have 24x. Does 1x and 24x equal 10x? No. So it can't be this one. Unfortunately, guys, this does come down to a guess and check. The more you do this, obviously the faster you're going to get at it, because you're going to recognize right away that that wasn't the right answer. So now we have to look and say, what two things, if I add them together, is going to give me 10? Well, 2 plus 12, does that give me 10? No. What about 3 plus 8, does that give me 10? Nope. 4 plus 6, now that does give me 10. So I'm going to put in here 4 and 6. So my answer will become, when I put it all together, x plus 4 and x plus 6. And let's say you're like, well, Mr. Butler, I don't believe you. I don't think that was the right answer. We can always do it again using FOIL to check our work. So remember, FOIL is first, outer, inner, and then last. So x times x is x squared. X times 6 is plus 6x. 4 times x is plus 4x. And then 4 times 6 is plus 24. Combine like terms, and you get x squared plus 10x plus 24. And that's how you would check and make sure your answer is correct. It's as easy as that, but like all things, it takes practice. I know a lot of you guys are probably sitting there going, wow, that's a lot. It's not as bad as you think. It just takes a little bit of time. So, if you guys look at that handout that Mrs. Evans would have gave you, you have 1, 2, and 3 on that sheet. So 1 is x squared plus 10x plus 16. So we're still going to have two quantities. So before you do anything else, go ahead, put your parentheses up on there. Okay? We look to the back. It says it's a positive. It means both signs are going to be the same. This tells me that both signs are plus. So we have two pluses. Since my coefficient out here is a 1, that just becomes x and x. So now it leaves us with just this back piece here. What are my factors of 16? I've got 1, 16. I've got 2 and 8. I've got 4 and 4. Well, we need this to be a total of 10 when we add them together. 1 plus 16, that does not equal 10. 4 plus 4 does not equal 10. So my answer has to be 2 and 8. And that's how it would work. Now, we're gonna pause the video right now, and I want you guys to try 2 and 3 on your own. Alright, so here's the answers, guys. Hopefully you guys came up with this. If not, guess what? I can be rewound. Rewind back, look at some of the other examples, and see if you see where you went wrong at. Quick note, on number 3, did you guys pay attention? Did you see that this is a minus sign? So while yes, this was a plus, so both sides are the same, since this is a minus, both of these should be a minus, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Alright, so what happens in this example where it's not a plus in the back? If it is a minus in the back, what does that mean? If it is a minus back here, it means your signs will be different. So, same thing. Before we even get started to solve it, let's go ahead. We're going to put in our parentheses. With our exponent in the front being 1, our leading coefficient was 1, we put k and k. Now, here comes the fun part. We know that one of these is going to be a plus, one of these are going to be a minus. Now what do? We do the exact same thing that we did before. We look at our number back here, -7. Okay. So we have to ask ourselves, what are my factors of -7? We might be, well, it's just 1 and 7, right? That would be incorrect. It's a -7. So my factors could be -1 and 7, or it could be 1 and -7. So now we need to come up with a +6. So let's add them together. -1 plus 7, well, that gives me a +6, where 1 minus 7, or 1 plus a -7, gives me a -6. So this is not the one I want to use. I want to use this. And look, it's already told me where they go. The 1 goes with the negative sign. The 7 goes with the positive sign. And that's it. There's nothing more to it. It's all like the examples we've just done. The only difference is we have to remember, it's negative in the back, your signs will be different. Okay? So, once again, 4, 5, and 6 is in your book, or in that handout that Ms. Evans gave you. So I want you guys to try these, and then I'll be back on in a few minutes to show you the answers. Alright, so hopefully at this point in time, guys, you have already answered all these questions without any problems whatsoever, right? Yeah, I know it's tough, but don't get frustrated. So here's the answers for those 3 problems. Okay, the key to remember is, remember you have a negative and a positive for each one of these terms. That is the key for these. Last type of problem that you're going to see on this top, or this unit, or not unit, this topic, 8.5, is going to look like this. Okay, these are just like the ones you've already done. The difference is they have it set to equal something. Well, every last one of these, if we would go back and look here, that's equal to 0. That's all it is. So for this equation, when we have h squared minus 4h equals 21, we just need to set it to equal to 0. You do that by subtracting 21 from both sides. So if I subtract 21 from both sides, I get h squared minus 4h minus 21 equals 0. Now I can go ahead and factor it out. So this just becomes, I have h and h. It's a negative in the back, so that means my signs are going to be different. Absolutely, different. So I got plus and a minus. What's my factors of 21? Well, obviously 1 and 21, negative 1, positive 1, negative 21. I've got 3 and 7, negative 3 and 7, 3, negative 7. And I'm just going to stop right there because I know when I add negative 3 plus 7, I get positive 4, but I need negative 4. So I add these together, gives me negative 4. So my plus will be 3, my minus is 7, and that answer is solved. Okay? Good luck, guys, on the rest of the problems.